Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and hope everybody's having a nice day. Um, as I'm taking attendance here, I'm going to put up a question, just a review question for you, um, and want you guys to just put your answer in the chat function. Okay, we've done this a couple times last week. It's good practice. And this is a review question from last chapter, actually. All right, so here we go. All right, said question. Looks like this. All right, so go ahead and, like I said, answer the question, and I'm trying to move it up in the middle for you, and put your response in the chat function, please. All right, I've got 18 answers. It looks like. Nope, maybe not that many. Waiting for a few more. Okay, so the question is, which of the following was the most immediate effect of the Portuguese establishment of a school for navigation in the 1400s? The development of overseas trade between West Africa and Europe, the establishment of regular trade contacts between Europe and the Americas, decline of Venetian control of trade in Asian luxury goods, and the establishment of direct overseas trade links between India and Europe. So let's see how many people got the correct answer here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 of you got it correct. Not all of you are willing to participate, which is weird because this is not going to count against you. But the correct answer is definitely A, the development of overseas trade between West Africa and Europe. When it says immediate effect, if you remember right, the first thing that they did was they immediately sailed down to West Africa and the island chains around there in order to try to find the sub-Saharan cities that had the gold. Okay, and the former kingdoms was Ghana, Mali, and at that time, Songhai. All right, so good review. Those of you got it correct. Some of you looked like you were guessing because you put a question mark. That is okay. Sometimes you got to guess. But yeah. All right, so moving on. Obviously, I'm going to go to the same place I go every day, and that is the modules. And today, I had asked you to upload your 17 or your soapstone. Okay, I only got 36 submissions, which means I'm missing quite a few. I wanted to talk about De las Casas versus Sepulveda. So those of you who are in class and actually engaged, let's have a little chat about this. So what was Sepulveda's main argument? He was writing this to the Pope. What was his main argument? Somebody help me out here. All right, Katya.
That the natives were like inhuman and meant to be servants.
Yeah, they were inhuman. They were basically born to be servants. I mean, he uses some of the most cruel language. They are barbarous, impious, inhuman, born to slavery. There was no possess anything individually. We've been gentle and human, and most merciful. And so he sugarcoats certainly how the Spanish treated the natives, and then he, uses a lot of negative ways, servile and base soul. I mean, these are 16th century trash talk, like making them feel like they're nothing. Okay, good. Thanks, Katya. All right, then let's look at Bartolome de las Casas. I got one of the hittles. I can't see which one. Raise your hand. I think it's the H, Hannah. What was his main argument?
That Spain, like the way that Spain was treating these native peoples and like putting them down and like automatically thinking that they're below them was inhuman and unjustified.
Correct. He even uses language like treat them as animals and less than the dung in the streets. So that's an obvious representation that he would be against enslaving the natives and obviously for converting them to Christianity. Why these two documents and these opposing sides are important are because in the mid to late 1500s, the Pope would say you can no longer enslave the natives. You have to pay them because you're converting them. But the continent of Africa, since it had so much influence from Islam and they were already converted to Muslims, there was much less appeal to the Roman Catholics to convert slaves from the continent of Africa. And so this would cause the slave trade to really ramp up too. But if you look at De las Casas, he says, you've already killed. And basically, he says, you depopulated and made desolate more than 10 kingdoms larger than all of Spain. I mean, so he recognizes the death and disease and the destruction of it as well. All right, real quick, bias from either one of these. Take a guess, take a shot. Where's the limitation on these documents? The Hiddle, I can't tell. I'm sorry, my little thing's in the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's me, Lucy. So for the first document, his bias is from the Spanish and from Spain and being like, since we're higher than you guys, we automatically get the right to rule, and since we see ourselves as like the superior beings, you guys have to like bow down to us. So he's biased towards like how the natives really are. And
he biased towards the Catholic Church, towards Europeans. And if we talk about limitations, did anybody else find a limitation in this document that you weren't sure about that could put into question his judgment here? Can anyone think of one? Luella?
It says, you surely do not expect me to recall at length the prudence and talents of the Spanish. Sorry, okay, I just confused myself, but that kind of made me feel like he doesn't really know what he's talking about.
Okay, and you're kind of getting what I was getting at was we don't know if he's been there or not. And the fact that it doesn't tell us if he's actually been to Spain, I mean, been from Spain to the New World, man, maybe he's just hearing this secondhand, like, which is obviously going to be completely wrong. So there's that definitely is a limitation on that source. On De las Casas, if you read your textbook, you would have known that he was a conquistador turned monk or priest. And so he was obviously there and saw it firsthand. So one thing I want to point out to you one thing I want to show you is you could say this is a credible source because he went to the Americas and he witnessed the destruction, and then he came back to Spain to write about it. And so one of the ways to show limitation is to show a lack of limitation and to say this could be credible because. Does that make sense to you guys? So you're still showing the bias. I mean, he's obviously Christian and biased because he saw a lot of the death that happened, but at the same time, his writing reflects exactly what his lack of limitation shows. Okay, that's kind of confusing, but you guys it seems like we're getting better from the people participating. I haven't looked at those soapstones yet. I was going to give you guys a chance to speak a little bit here. So I'm going to go back to what our activity for today is. And so if we go down to 923 mini DBQ group work, okay? I'd like everybody to have that up on their screen. And here's what we are going to do. Hey, first off, before I forget, because it's fresh on the top of my head, I just want to remind you guys or let you know we do have a test Friday. It's on 15, 17, and 19. We are going to do themes tomorrow. We will not have a discussion Friday. I will play a review game with you on Friday because that's my style. I always play review games. This is the first year I've never not played a review game in AP. Kids always love it. So we'll figure out something, okay? And that'll actually give you guys major help on the assignment. On the test. Because the review game usually is I'll make it off the test. So that's for your advantage. Okay, but today we're getting closer and we're getting better at DBQ. So the instructions say follow the instructions on the mini DBQ assignment. Remember, only one submission per group will include all first and last names. This is due by the end of the period. So we're going to have to get to work. So I'm not going to download it again because I already have it. Oh, yeah, I have it right here. Okay, so this is the document that you guys are going to upload. And the directions are as such. I'm going to put you in small groups. Read and analyze the following documents. And then you're going to write a thesis statement. Submit it on Canvas with your group members' names, one submission per group. Your thesis should include 3 major ideas. So back to what we talked about last week. I think it was, or on Monday. No, 2 days ago. Thesis statements are a roadmap. They're your 3 main ideas that you would use and prove in your body paragraph citing the documents. I'm not making you do that today. I'm not making you go through sourcing today. We do that if we were in class. But I am wanting you to go through this. I put this together myself, which is probably maybe the second time I've ever done something like this because I was being creative today or yesterday. And you are going to go through these 5 documents, and then you're going to try to answer this question. Using your knowledge of history in the documents below, to what extent were the Spanish ruthless barbarians or civilized conquerors in the Americas? Okay, so use the 5 documents I have here. This is the King of Spain. This is obviously a engraving. This is the Pope. This is a random article written on February 19th, 2016. And then this is a Costa painting. And you can read the description, okay? All right, so before I let you guys run with this, all we're writing is a thesis statement based on this question. But in order to do that, you have to go through each document and basically try to say how it answers the question, okay? I'm going to put you guys in groups of 4. And I'll let you guys attack this thing, okay? I'll be here for questions. Does anyone have a question before we start? All right, this is a fun moment. We're diving into the document-based question. All right, here we go. All right, breakout rooms. Might be 3 to 4 people per group. Okay. Let's do this. So I got one person named Sam Barker who hasn't joined yet. Sam Barker. Hello. I got, we think the Spanish tried to be civilized conquerors as directions from King Ferdinand stated, but they ended up being barbaric to the Indians when trying to convert them by basically forcing them to do hard labor in the silver mines. Okay, this is adequate, but the we think has to go. You guys are the masters of the topic. So you would start that with the Spanish attempted or tried to be civilized conquerors. And you don't say as the directions from King Ferdinand stated in your thesis. You would just say tried to be, because you would use that as evidence in your thesis. I mean,
Okay.
in your body paragraph.
Okay.
Then you would say, but they ended up being barbaric by trying to convert the Indians and forcing them to do hard labor in the silver mines.
Alright, so we like worded it wrong.
Yeah. So
Okay.
because what you want to do is that's a good thesis statement because you're showing what's called a counter argument. Like they tried to do one thing, but they ended up doing another thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have evidence to write your DBQ really well there. But you don't want to have, you need to reword the second and third clause, and you need to get rid of the extra evidence there in directions from King Ferdinand. And then never, ever, 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 ever say we or I in a essay. Okay.
Alright.
That's a cardinal sin. Okay, you guys clean that up, all right? And then resubmit it. I don't care if someone else resubmits it or whatever. Just submit something different. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Burnett, but were we supposed to just leave the?
I'm trying to figure out what group Grace Lane was in because there's no names under her thesis statement she wrote. Did you guys submit your thesis statement already?
Yeah, we did, but they told me that we had to do an entire paragraph.
No.
I
No.
wrote an entire paragraph.
No. No. Your thesis statement's good. I already looked at it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. No, but I can't figure out the other one. I already changed the other group that I didn't like. Yeah, so you guys are good to go because yours was correct. So
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just make sure you probably want to study a little bit tonight and prepare your themes. I'll send a message out to everyone.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
After we finished, are we allowed to leave?
Were you in Grace's group?
No.
Who submitted your thesis statement?
Lucy.
Which one? Hiddle?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys didn't do this right, but
Oh.
it's okay. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay.
But yeah, you guys can leave. It's fine.
All right.
Thanks. Everybody's on mute.
No, we're finished. I'm just having a bit of trouble submitting it.
Okay. Can you read your thesis statement to me?
All right. So, you said that the Spanish were ruthless people who would abuse others in order to get what they wanted. Why we say that is because in document 4 it states that.
See, all that's extra. You don't need that in the thesis statement. So in the thesis statement, your statement is that they're ruthless barbarians, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then you have to give the 3 reasons why without mentioning any kind of document or anything. It has to be a little bit broader. They were ruthless conquerors because they did this, this, and this.
All right.
Okay, so that's how it's supposed to be worded. You're not the only one that did that. So submit what you guys have because the period's gonna be over in 2 minutes.
All right.
Okay. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about it tomorrow. I'll put a note underneath your submission.